Tempestus Scions, also known as Stormtroopers in Low Gothic, are the elite shock troops of the Militarum Tempestus. They are trained to carry out special operations such as deep strike assaults, reconnaissance, and infiltration beyond enemy lines. Stormtroopers are the very best soldiers the Guard can call upon. Being trained to the peak of human perfection, their combat skills are unmatched by any normal guardsman. Either as part of an Imperial Guard regiment or as the Militarum Tempestus Scions are used to enact missions that the regular guardsmen cannot handle, and often form an elite corps entrusted with carrying out important missions such as spearheading assaults into heavily fortified positions and infiltrating enemy lines. Scions undergo a brutal training regime and are armed with the very best weaponry available to the Guard. Their violent potential is enhanced by rigid discipline as a result of Ordo Tempestus training, and they will carry out any order regardless of how inhumane it may be. Fully prepared to give their own lives for the Imperium, Scions are indoctrinated with a sense of obedience and duty that overrides any instinct of self-preservation. They are often dropped into the thick of combat from Valkyrie assault carriers. Once deployed to the field, Scions typically use the riser pattern, hotshot laser guns, and hotshot volley guns. They frequently operate from Taurox Prime armored vehicles and Valkyrie aircraft. Scions can also be directly deployed from orbit by use of Virtus-class dropships. Tempestus Scions are the elite fighting force of the Ordo Tempestus, a quasi-independent agency within the Administratum that also includes commissars. By virtue of its members having been recruited from the progenitor of the Schola Progenium, their regiments are made up of soldiers from worlds throughout the Imperium. While individual regiments are routinely deployed for independent actions, it is also common practice for individual companies or battalions to be sent to war zones, and from there have individual Scion squads join Imperial Guard regiments as required. A Tempestus company numbers around 300 Scions. The regiments to which these elite troops are attached to often regard the inimitable dedication and better equipment of the Scions with a certain amount of animosity, referring to them by such names as Glory Boys and Big Toy Soldiers. Regardless of the opinion of the average guardsman, none who witness Scions in action can deny their effectiveness. The Militarum Tempestus has occasionally been known to send Scion squads to permanently assist regiments of the Imperial Guard, particularly those skilled at aerial assault, such as the Elysian Drop Troops and Harakoni Warhawks. Whilst not native to these regiments, the attached Scions will still form up to act as their most elite and deadly troops. Troublesome Scions who have disciplinary problems or fail to follow orders are grouped into their regiment's Eradicant formations. Composed of individual squadrons, they are given names like First Eradicant and so on. The Eradicant squadrons are then given extremely difficult missions to accomplish, which fulfill the two goals that Tempestus Scion regiments have for the formations. The first is the successful completion of a mission, which retrains these wayward Scions enough that they are deemed suitable to be able to rejoin their regiment. The second is that the Eradicants die in battle, and either result is seen as a positive for their regiments. There is also a chance, though, that even after completing a mission, a Scion can still be deemed to be not ready to leave the Eradicants. In that case, the survivors will remain with their squadrons, which will receive replacements for their losses, or they will be merged with other Eradicant squadrons as they await their next mission. However, it is considered unusual and surprising if a Scion is still an Eradicant after 8 months. This is because entire squadrons are frequently wiped out during their missions, with only the squadron's name living on after it is reformed with new Eradicants. Having been orphans raised by the Schola Progenium, progenitor is then taken by the Ordo Tempestus to be schooled in its harsh and miserable training camps. While here, they are instilled with a strong sense of loyalty to the Imperium, taught superior battle tactics, and the use of more advanced equipment than the average guardsman. They are homogenized and mentally broken, then rebuilt as perfect soldiers. Many cadets will undergo mental reconstruction that erases memories of their past lives. Once their basic training and mental reconstruction are complete, cadets undergo the trials of compliance. This is a trial of a diverse nature that tests how cadets can process commands, regardless of how dangerous, inhumane, or complex they may be. Only those who pass the trials may become Tempestus Scions. The training Scions receive usually begins after they have already completed their primary education at the Schola Progenium, ensuring an individual is knowledgeable in Imperial law as well as Imperial history. However, on rare occasions, a senior official, such as an Inquisitor, can use their authority to have an adult undergo Scion training. Such a selection usually happens only after some act of outstanding courage and dedication, along with whatever the senior official's agenda happens to be. Such candidates are examined carefully by the drill abbots for developed martial skills, a deep faith in the Imperial creed, and a strong mind capable of resisting the horrors of the 41st millennium. Even if the candidate already has years of combat experience, they will be treated by the drill abbots no differently than if they were a recruit. The traditional progenitor will consider them as an outsider, only granted the honor of training with them due to their patron. The Scions' standard equipment is superior to regimental guardsmen and generally includes carapace armor, superior to the standard flak armor in use by regimental guardsmen, as well as the hotshot laser gun, sometimes referred to as a hell gun, a higher-powered laser gun that incorporates a targeter. They are equipped with both frag and crack grenades, as well as the option to carry melter bombs. Scions can also be issued special weapons, including flamers, grenade launchers, melter guns, plasma guns, and hotshot volley guns. Scion leaders can also have access to other advanced weapons, such as power weapons, bolt weapons, and plasma pistols. An even greater variety of specialized equipment can also be deployed by Scions, depending on the nature of a mission. Some of these include grav chutes for preforming aerial insertions and chimeras or Taurox primes for ground transportation. Several Imperial organizations, particularly the Imperial Guard, are known to employ Scions or in-house Scion equivalents. The most notable are as follows. Tempestus Aquilons are elite Scions who exclusively go into battle wearing grav chutes. They are armed primarily with hotshot laser guns as well as melter guns and plasma carbines. They are drawn from Schola Progenium recruits who display self-sufficiency, intuition, raw aggression, free thought, and improvisation. While all Tempestus Scions are trained in grav chute insertion, Aquilons differ in that they are entirely designed around such operations. Due to preferring to drop right into the middle of enemy lines, the Aquilons are required to have intense close-quarters training and can have specialists who are equipped with various short-range weapons, like melter carbines and plasma carbines. Their teams are led by Tempesters and also include the specialist ranks of gunfighter, gunner, marksman, precursor, and grenadier. Aquilon squadrons can be deployed with grav chute-equipped servo sentries as well. Kasrkin are the elite of the already highly trained Cadian shock troopers, dedicated utterly to the preservation and security of Cadia with an ethos of duty and honor, both impressive and intimidating. Pronounced Kasrkin, these elite soldiers are picked up while serving as white shields in the Cadian youth armies, then sent to several military academies modeled on the Schola Progenium. More than a match for Imperial Scions, Kasrkin squads are allocated to shock trooper companies to provide a cutting edge in battle and conduct special operations. Whereas the standard Scions can be looked down upon in envy by Imperial guardsmen, the standard Kasrkin is admired, particularly in their regiment, for their cool-headed composure during combat. They are well versed in destroying the enemies of the Imperium, especially the forces of chaos, and will lead the charge in the defense of Cadia. To be a Kasrkin is to hold a position of honor recognized by all Cadians. While still Stormtroopers, Kasrkin operate with their unique pattern of Hellgun and Carapace armor. The fearsome Catachan jungle fighter regiments include squads of warriors exceptional even by the exacting standards of their birth world. They are seasoned jungle fighters who are deadly in close combat, also using a versatile array of ranged weapons for every occasion. In Catachan regiments, these elite soldiers are called Catachan Devils because of their famous kill knives and the voracious predators of their world, whose fierceness they emulate in combat. The Devil's senses are honed to a razor's edge, allowing them to recognize hidden threats in their midst, even enemies who are under cloaking devices. The Inquisition maintains several fortresses throughout the galaxy, both secret and known to the inhabitants of the Imperium. The Inquisitorial Stormtroopers must protect and provide security to these fortresses and the Inquisitorial Black Ships. They can also be called upon to assist an Inquisitor on active assignment. They are recruited from the Schola Progenium, as well as certain families with a tradition of service to the Inquisition. Their training is equal to the Stormtroopers of the Astra Militarum. Furthermore, they undergo rigorous purity and incorruptibility tests before their induction, making them preferable for use in Ordo Malleus and Ordo Hereticus forces when the number of Grey Knights and Battle Sisters may be insufficient. Inquisitorial Stormtroopers also have more choices of armament than their Imperial Guard counterparts. They can utilize a Rhino instead of a Chimera as transport, and a squad's veteran sergeant can choose items from the Demon Hunter and Witch Hunter armories. A powerful counter-assault combination often involves a Stormtrooper squad whose veteran sergeant is armed with a Thunderhammer being transported into battle within a heavily armored Rhino.